everybody, this week on ANN News Kids we'll be talking about China new missile, Australia reopening, elephant tusks, and coronavirus statistics. The country of the week is Paraguay, and Sudan Dupat was the first to guess it. Congratulations! The extra fun segment is all about chocolate, and we are talking to Vinesh Gopal, who conserves national parks in Mauritius in the Pre-Retro Career segment. I really hope you enjoy, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment below because we are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers this year. Thank you. China's new hypersonic missile could be a threat to the US. In late July, they tested their Chinese Long March rocket, and after it took off to space and orbited the Earth for some time, it came and crashed to the ground. China denied the fact that it's a nuclear-capable hypersonic missile, although they conducted another experiment just like this one just a while ago. This could be a threat to the US because China is operating much quicker than thought. Although Joe Biden, the president of US, has a policy to spend less time on nuclear weapons production. Australia has already started opening its borders. In Melbourne, after 260 days of lockdown, the people can now travel where they want. Australia reached a milestone this week of vaccinating 70% above the age of 16 in the country. All fully vaccinated Australian citizens, permanent residents, and immediate families can now travel to Sydney from overseas without having to quarantine. Also, students and workers from abroad will be allowed into the country in a few weeks' time, and before Christmas, tourists will be allowed too. In Mozambique's Gorongosa National Park, an increasing proportion of female elephants are being born without being able to develop tusks. Scientists say that this is a response to poaching in the country during the 15-year civil war. Usually, tusklessness does occur naturally, but only in a very small proportion of female elephants. 3 decades ago, only 18% of female elephants were born without developing tusks, although right now more than 51% cannot develop them. Elephants need their tusks for various activities in daily life, and this will not allow them to do many things. Coronavirus statistics around the world are still slowly decreasing. The total coronavirus cases are about 243.7 million, the total deaths are 4.9 million, and the total recoveries are about 221 million. The top 5 countries with the most coronavirus cases are USA, India, Brazil, UK, and Russia. And the top 5 countries with the most coronavirus deaths are USA, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Russia. Could you please start by introducing yourself?
My name is Vinesh Gopal, and in the office, Vinesh. And I work as Acting Deputy Director at the National Parks and Conservation Service. And the National Parks and Conservation Service is a government organization responsible for the conservation of the native flora of the Republic of Mauritius. And it also manages the national parks of Mauritius, that is the Black River Gorges National Park and the Brado National Park, together with some islets national park that we have. So basically, I worked there since 1999. I started as technical officer, then promoted to scientific officer, then senior scientific officer, and then now I am the acting deputy director. So it's about 22 years now working in conservation. Previously, before that, I worked 3 years as a biology teacher for secondary schools. The age group is between 12 to 18 years old. So I teach biology for 2 years. And currently, I am also responsible for something which we call as UNESCO Mammalian Biosphere. And actually, I am the national focal point for UNESCO Mammalian Biosphere and for Mauritius. And shortly, Mammalian biosphere means where we are living, the earth, and man is how man reconcile with the nature. So it is a convention, it is a program under UNESCO, and each country has someone which is focal point, and I am national focal point for Mauritius. Wow. And since 2017. Yeah.
Wow. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you do in your job?
So actually, when I started as technical officer, I was posted in a site called Rivulet Terre Rouge Estuary Bird Sanctuary. The site was important as a refuge for migratory birds. Migratory birds used to, when there is snow in the northern hemisphere, they used to escape the snow and travel long distance, and they have stopovers. And Mauritius, there was a place which is near Port Louis, and they stop over there to feed and then change the plumage to become more beautiful so that they can return back to their country when it is summer in the northern hemisphere, where they can breed, they can reproduce. So I was responsible for it. And afterwards, I was responsible for the propagation of rare endemic plants of Mauritius.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Mauritius has one of the highest number of threatened species of plant in the world. So my job was to try and propagate them and then return it back to in the wild. And so I had a very challenging task to save them, but it was so wonderful, and I really appreciate it. Then afterwards, when I was senior scientific officer, so my department, they also do captive breeding of endemic birds. Most people know the famous NGO in Mauritius, which is Mauritian Wildlife Foundation. But it is good to know that the government also collaborate, contribute to safeguard these species. So we also do restoration of offshore islets. These islets has been degraded during a long period of time. And what we do, we try to restore the islet, putting back native plants, but also trying to release reptiles, lizards, and all this we do in collaboration with NGOs, and both in Mauritius, but also international NGOs as well.
Wow.
So basically, my job now is mostly for administrative. So now I am deputy director. So I do mostly management. And one other aspect that we do is to conserve the ecosystem. This is something which is very important because ecosystem, it is not only for wildlife and biodiversity, but it is also provision of services such as good quality of air, provision of water. So we restore this ecosystem. And one such ecosystem also is what we call wetlands. So my department, I'm working managing all these sectors.
Wow.
But I have another task, which is to promote the involvement of people in nature. So this is where my role as Mammalian Biosphere National Focal Point comes in. So what I have to do is look into places which can become biosphere reserves.
Yeah.
And through this, it will become internationally known. And I managed to nominate one site, which is called the Black River Gorges Belome Biosphere Reserve.
Wow.
What is interesting there, you have the biodiversity, you have the national park, but you also have the villages, you also have the economic sector, which is also part of the biosphere reserve now. So my responsibility was to prepare the dossier, nomination dossier, so that Mauritius gets this label of biosphere reserve. It is known worldwide. There is only 724, something like that. So imagine in the world, we are amongst them, among the 700. And now the next step for me, my responsibility will be to extend the biosphere reserve and also to promote active management so that people can reconcile with nature. And one of the objectives is also to set up a youth forum for Mammalian Biosphere where the young generation can also can be involved in such activities such as conserving nature, working towards sustainable practices, recycling of waste.
Wow.
Yeah, all this. So I have this is for part of my work. Yeah.
Okay. And what brought you into this sector?
Yeah. Basically, when I was graduated at the University of Mauritius, basically the first thing is to look for a job, and I didn't like teacher. This was not my preferred job.
Okay.
But then it came out. You need to find something to earn a living. But then after 2 years, I started to love the job of teacher because each and every time you are in contact with the younger generation, and then this forces you to keep you abreast with the young generation. And it was a wonderful experience. But my vision was always to work for. I like to work for conservation. I like to. My main interest was plants, and so afterwards, when I got the job of at the National Parks and Conservation Service,
Okay.
it was a big decision because sometimes when you fix for a job, the thing is you want to do what you like, but also you have to look at what you will earn, the salary, and this is something important also. One of the criteria that you need to ponder, need to think about. And what was surprising for me is when I got the job at National Park, my salary was much lower than I was receiving as a teacher. But then, because of the love for conserving the plants and not really the birds, because I like plants, orchids, ferns, but still, then I started working at National Park, and this reminds me that sometimes you love to work with something, but it's not necessary that you get it. When I started at National Park, I didn't get the responsibility to work with a plant directly. I had to work with the migratory birds. Okay. Then again, migratory birds was not my main area of interest and focus. Yeah. But still, I managed to make the site where I was working, which is the Rivulet Estuary Bird Sanctuary, to become internationally known Ramsar site. Wow. Ramsar site or site or wetlands of international importance. So when I did this, I found some kind of interest with the migratory birds, and up till now I still go and watch the migratory birds during the migratory seasons. The season is from September to March, and I don't fail to. I don't miss an opportunity to go and watch these birds, and it's wonderful. I really appreciate. I really found it's surprising that we need to take plane for 11 hours to go to Europe, and these birds travel all this distance to come. Working with nature is something. It's another feeling.
Wow. Thank you so much. And what else do you really enjoy about your job?
To be connected. not connected with Facebook, but connected with nature. This is wonderful. Sometimes you need to touch nature. You need to breathe nature, and each month I used to go on Sunday to the park and like this, and whistle, and you can see birds coming, and you talk to nature, and I feel that I am lucky to work in a field that you can go out, you can express yourself, you are not within the boundaries of office walls, and yet my job now is mostly office work. Yes, but I do appreciate the national park, and it's so beautiful, and all the sceneries, and you feel you can't be depressed if you go in the national park and work with nature. This is a wonderful aspect of it. But now I'm working for UNESCO Marine Biosphere. I have developed another interest is how to work with people and how to make people reconcile with nature, how to make people contribute to conservation of the nature, and trying to bring all the actors around the national park to work together and try to strengthen the team for the conservation of nature. So this is a wonderful aspect. I started working with people. Yeah.
That's amazing. And what is your advice to kids?
I will say you concentrate on your study. This is the main objective, but also don't forget that you can also contribute to safeguard nature. A simple action that you can do even to take a photo of a beautiful flower in the forest and post it is something that you are doing positively, because why? You are making people aware of such beauty. So one advice I would give is, yes, you do your study, but try to also have a look on what is surrounding us, what is contributing to our welfare, to our well-being, and try to protect it. And even at home, one advice is you need to each youngster through their family at home, they can bring an endemic plant at home, grow it at home. It's a way that you are saving also these plants, which, and unfortunately, as I told you, around more than 150 species are critically endangered to extinction. So for youngsters, I previously I worked with two schools, which is Bocage and Clavis Primary School, and I helped them to set up a nursery where they can learn how to grow a plant.
Yeah,
and,
great.
And so if I gave them some seeds of endemic, which is common, and even if you plant it at home, it's a way that you are contributing to save these plants. This is what I will say. And I am going to set up a youth forum.
Oh, wow.
And for UNESCO Marine Biosphere. And I would try to engage youth in this process. And this will be a way where we'll build the youth, the next generation, and try to promote our knowledge that we have, try to pass them to the next generation. And because sometimes I do feel that we are specialists in a domain, but we need to pass on this to the next generation. So the youth forum will have school kids coming. We'll have kids from the village, which is Belom, which is under the Marine Biosphere. We will have youngsters from the university. And so as we can build a team, and why not doing activities together for conserving nature. So we'll be trying to setting up this. Hopefully, I hope that we can engage a lot of youth in this forum.
Yeah, it's a really great idea. Sounds very, very interesting. Yes. Thank you so much for your time for the interview. It was really, really nice. We really enjoyed it, and we hope you did too.
No, it's a pleasure. The pleasure was mine also. So you're also sharing a bit of my job to disseminate a bit conservation. So thank you. This is a very wonderful initiative that you have set up.
Thank you so much.
Maybe one day we can ask you to come and share a bit of your knowledge and to other people, and so as other people can get inspired to do what you're doing. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Bye.
La Paraguay est un pays d'Amérique du Sud. Sa capitale est Asunción et sa population est de 7,2 millions d'habitants. Elle est connue pour le barrage qui produit la plupart de l'électricité du Paraguay et qui est sur le fleuve Paraná. C'est aussi à la frontière du Brésil et Paraguay, donc c'est la propriété des deux pays. Le fleuve Paraná est la deuxième plus longue rivière d'Amérique du Sud. La boisson nationale de Paraguay est maté. C'est souvent servi chaud. Le sport national de Paraguay est le football. Les chutes d'Iguazu sont plus longues que les chutes Niagara et sont deux fois le largeur. Le plus grand rongeur se trouve au Paraguay. C'est le capybara et c'est comme un cobaye géant. La guerre du Paraguay était la plus mal guerre de Latine-Amérique interétatique. C'était entre le Paraguay et le Triple Alliance, le Brésil, Argentine et Uruguay. C'était de 1864 jusqu'à 1870. Hi everybody, this week for the extra fun segment we'll be talking about chocolate. I hope you enjoy. Each pound of chocolate needs about 400 cocoa beans. A single cocoa tree can produce 2,500 cocoa beans on average in a lifetime. Ivory Coast produces about 40% of the world's cocoa. Chocolate comes from a fruit tree and it's grown from a seed. Trees take 45 years to produce the first cocoa beans. The first form of chocolate was hot chocolate, and white chocolate isn't really chocolate. It's made from refined cocoa butter. The scientific name for tree means food of the gods. The English company of chocolate, Cadbury, made the first chocolate bar in 1842. Thank you.